We're live. Debbie, why don't you kick it off? Let people know why we're here.
So Raj, here's my concern. You and I have been together since the beginning, and we've got 4 or 5 of us on here on the group that have also been together since the beginning. And as you know, my partner Sandy and I, we just started with 2 women trying to get like-minded people together that could support each other. And we started on Facebook because that's what everybody is on right now, Facebook. And we've grown from 2 people to 2,500 people. And these people depend on Sandy and I to get the information out to them. But not only get the information out to them, but we've established a community where we become friends, where we depend on each other, where we meet and we support each other. So when it happened today and they say that we're going to shut down Twitter, we're going to shut down Parler, it scares me because 1, I put my integrity on the line for all of these people. I have put my heart and my soul, and so has Sandy, for all of these people to put us in a community. And we've tried to transfer everybody over to Parler, to MeWe. We're doing our best, but at this point, we're struggling. We don't want to disband. We don't want to lose what we call our family right now because these people have become our family. So I need direction as just a single mom, a single woman who's not educated in the tech field, and I've gained all these relationships. I need to know what to do and where to go and how to implement that.
Yeah, thanks, Debbie. I'm going to ask the folks on the call to comment on that. I appreciate you asking the question. I'm going to answer it. And I know you popped in at my request at the last minute. You're in another meeting. So I know you may disappear here in a minute, but you'll catch the recording. So the purpose of this call is because a few hours ago, we got notified that Apple has contacted Parler. Parler is another app. It's a competitor to Twitter. The difference in Parler is Parler doesn't censor what you say. It has become very popular, and as Debbie just mentioned, a lot of people have moved over to Parler, but Apple contacted Parler and said to Parler, you either start censoring what people say on your platform, or we're going to remove you from the Apple Play Store, from the Apple App Store. And now we heard that Google is going to do that. We've also heard that in the last few hours, massive numbers of people, including the people that are on this call. If you're not talking, please mute yourself, because whatever you hear, whatever you're saying where you are is coming from the recording. So please mute yourself if you're not talking. So back to what I was saying just a second ago. Yeah, so there we go. Thank you. So back to what I was saying just a minute ago. Apple contacted Parler, said if you don't start censoring, we're going to take you off Apple. Google's looks like they're going to follow suit. A number of people that I know have been taken off of Facebook in the last few hours. Why are we doing this call? We're going to answer Debbie's question, but we're also doing this call because I'm appealing to you. If you're watching this video, will you temporarily suspend any of your Apple products? What I mean, will you go into Apple TV and suspend your account? Will you go to Apple Music and suspend that account? Will you take any non-critical apps that are on your Apple phone and uninstall them? Why am I asking you to do this? The reason I'm asking you to do this is the only shot we have, literally the only shot we have at protecting our First Amendment rights is if we connect with solidarity. Right now, what is happening is everyone that is conservative-minded, everyone that feels that there was voter fraud, everyone is being branded as a terrorist. They're taking the 400 people that stormed the Capitol and they're making everyone, including you, if you're watching this, a terrorist. And so once they do that, they can legitimately say any platform like Parler that accommodates terrorists needs to be taken out and no one's going to stand in their way. Anyone on Facebook that thinks independently is a terrorist, we're going to take them away. So if we do not band together, it's not going to happen. It's happening right now. It started a couple of hours ago. This thing became real. We are literally now in the end game. Now, I don't want you just hearing it from me. I want to hear from a couple other people here about the calls to action that you can take. If you uninstall the apps, every app company that's on the App Store, the moment you uninstall your app, they get notified. I know this because I'm an app developer. That is what my company does. We need as many companies as possible that are relying on Apple to get notifications that they've been uninstalled, because we need those companies to talk to Apple and say, WTH, what are you doing? You're an app provider, you're a technology company, you're not the police. You're not there to determine what the First Amendment right is or not. So get on the program and stop hassling people and taking platforms off just because you don't agree. That's what Apple needs to hear. And if you're paying Apple for Apple TV, Apple product, you need to suspend those accounts is my appeal to you. Let me go to the next stop. Lindsay, I'd like to go up next if you would please, and a comment, and also try to comment also on, and let me just say one thing regarding to Debbie's question. It is not enough for us just to move to other platforms. You've got to push back, you've got to fight back. And what we just talked about is your way to fight back, and it's going to work if we do it in solidarity. Lindsay is an expert on what happens when we talk in mass. One last thing, text the word enough to 797979. If you have had enough, text the word enough to 797979. That'll put you in a text thread, so no matter what happens, we can still stay in touch. Lindsay, you're up.
Yeah, I just want to say it's not enough just to sit back and watch it happen to everyone else. You are going to be everyone else. You're going to end up getting caught up in this one way or another. And I think Dan Bongino said, if you don't find the fight, the fight's going to find you. So I'm asking you to find the fight. We have to do it in mass. I'm not asking you to get violent. I'm saying stand up and fight. And if you haven't seen The Great Hack, I encourage you to do that. One of the highlights of that movie or that feature is that they have 5,000 data points on you. So if you don't think that they know your beliefs, your tendencies, who you support, what you don't support, I can tell you they do. And I'm not quiet about it, and I'm not going to be quiet about it. That being said, I did get a 3-day Facebook ban earlier for using a profanity word, when responding to someone. So fine. This is the first time though that it has gone beyond just that. That ban happened this morning around 9 a.m. About maybe an hour ago, I have officially been banned from using Messenger. I cannot communicate to anybody in Messenger. And I just want to emphasize the kind of Messenger groups that I'm in. I'm in a Back the Blue Thunder Facebook group. I'm in a Christian Bible Study Messenger group. I'm in the Red Wave TV. It's not hard to figure out who I support and who I don't. And that I'm the kind of person that they're going to continue to go after. So this is about stopping me from communicating with my network, because they don't want me to spread my beliefs. And they want to shut us down. It's not about money. This is about control. And that's exactly what they're doing. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to MySpace, Facebook. MySpace is basically non-existent anymore as a social platform. Why? Because everybody left. They left for different reasons. But you know what? People are going to find you. If you have supporters, if you have, close relations with friends and business partners and family and everything, trust me, they'll find you. They know how to get a hold of you. And if we all leave, then that is going to speak volumes, because we're going to demonetize them, because they no longer have access to their targeted advertising or anything else. They can't control you if they don't have the ability to control who you're talking to. You're not on their platform, period. So I will be deleting my Facebook account. You can back up all of your photos and videos, things like that. So don't be afraid of losing your life to Facebook. They don't control who you are and what you believe in, unless you stay on their platform, because that is exactly what they're going to be doing. I'm also an Apple user, and as you might have just heard, Apple is now putting the screws to Parler unless they play by their rules. Well, that's not the platform that Parler started. That's not what they believe in, and they're not going to do it. But unfortunately, in the meantime, Parler users who are Apple users as well cannot post on that website. So not hard to figure out where this is going. This is crony capitalism at minimum, and it is the ushering of communism and control at worst. I mean, that's what we're looking at right now. So let's MySpace, Facebook. Let's all move to a platform that believes in free speech and lack of control. We have to do it in mass. It's no longer about waiting and deciding. We have to do that right now. So I know that I've certainly had enough. And so I would just encourage you to text enough to 797979. Every single person on this call right now is not benefiting financially. This is just something that we're doing because we believe in it. So just do more, whatever it is, do more and take your money away from them. Get rid of Apple, get rid of your Apple TV, your iPads. There are other devices. You're not beholden to them. So I encourage you to take action because they're going to take it against you. So.
Thank you, Lindsay. So the highlights from, if you're just joining this call, we put this call at the last minute because a couple of hours ago, we got a notification that Apple has asked Parler, a completely independent company, and has said to Parler, you need to start censoring the content on your platform because if you don't, we're going to take you out of the App Store. Unbelievable. So this is not an egregious act against Parler. It's an egregious act against the First Amendment rights of everyone that's on Parler, that went to Parler specifically because Twitter and other companies were censoring. You heard what Lindsay said. She is taking those apps out. I'm asking you to also consider, at least temporarily, suspending all of the Apple products, Apple TV, Apple Music, any non-essential apps on your phone. When you uninstall an app on your phone, the vendor gets notified. We need a bunch of companies that rely on Apple to get notified that their apps are being uninstalled because Apple has become Nazi. They are unilaterally determining what's right or wrong, and that's not their place. That is not their place at all. And we as conservatives, every time something like this happens, we just keep backing up. They take posts down, we say capture it before it gets taken down. They say do this, we keep doing it. But if I'm urging you, if you don't push back digitally now, democracy in this country is toast. It's happening right now. Democracy is already over. It's already being done. Your First Amendment rights are being taken away right now. There are people on this call that'll talk about how their accounts like Lindsay have been removed. Please text the word enough to 797979 if you want to put on a network that's independent of Apple and Google. I'm going to ask Gus here to comment here in just a minute about the same topic here. We're urging you to take action. Gus, you're up. Go ahead and unmute and share, please.
Thank you. I guess this meeting cut me like last minute, and I just want to talk to whoever comes across this video that you were scrolling on Facebook or wherever you came across this video, and you're watching your TV shows, you're watching your Walking Dead, you're watching your Breaking Bad. Those are all shows, but you need to give it time. I'm just a regular guy who has a 8-hour job every day. Nobody is in this call. I don't know most of the people on the call, but I can guarantee you nobody's gaining anything financially. We are here for the future, and not even for the future of your kids, but for the future of your grandkids. All this stimulus money, all this stuff that is happening right now, you're probably not going to have to worry about it, but your kids and your grandkids are going to have to worry about. Just give some time to your freedoms. They're going away slowly, and what Apple's doing right now is just telling us that if you don't agree with what they want and what they say, they're just gonna push you aside, and they're just gonna just run all over you. We are, with the group that we have with people's rights, we are just trying to do back to one of the speakers said, back to the people getting together face to face, meeting each other face to face, learning about each other face to face, and gaining trust from each other face to face. I feel like Facebook and Parler, all of these places, they give us an opportunity to meet, to maybe for me to come to this meeting. But eventually, in order to gain trust from each other, we have to know each other personally, like in the old times. Shake hands, hugs, whatever it is that gives trust within each other, and know that we are looking for each other's best interest, and not just us, because I'm almost 40 years old. We're halfway through my life, but what we're fighting for here is mostly our kids and our grandkids. If we don't do something now, the life that we're going to live for them is just not very good. So I urge you to like Raj said, just unsubscribe. Maybe turn off that TV and bring the Monopoly out. Play with your kids at the table Do like imagine like a hurricane came by here and just do like the old times. Turn off those phones, put them away, leave them for an emergency to make a phone call. But just go to the old times.
Thank you, Gus. Good words for that. Thank you. If you're just tuning in here, we're doing this broadcast because a few hours ago, Apple told Parler, another company, that Parler, you need to start censoring your content. If you don't censor your content, we're going to take your app off the Apple App Store. This is egregious. This is a violation against all those people that bought an app, bought an iPhone, that are using Parler. And so I am asking you, and everyone here, if they so choose, will ask you, please consider suspending your Apple products, Apple TV, Apple Play, whatever you're using on Apple. Uninstall any non-essential app from your phone. Because when you do that, it lets all of the vendors that rely on App Store know that people do not like what Apple's doing. You uninstall an app, that vendor gets notified right away. Scott, thank you for hanging in there. Go ahead and chime in here and share about, go ahead, share.
All right, thank you, Raj. As we've seen today, this is probably in history the largest event of First Amendment violations that we have ever seen in our time on a massive scale, by the perpetrators being Facebook, Twitter, Apple, Messenger, about the only ones that you're fairly safe on is Parler and Weeme. However, if you're using them through Apple, they put threats to also censor that as well. Just cut to the chase. They're dependent upon our money. And Raj is 100% right. If we start, removing apps and stuff like that, they'll certainly get the message. But we also need to be savvy. As we sat here for a few minutes, I actually came up with an idea that I want to share for a second. We're all really concerned that on our Apple products, we all seem to be held down with this chain. However, if you go into your Apple settings, your Apple phone, your iPhone settings, you can go and pick your internet provider that's your first choice. DuckDuckGo is the one to go to. Now, we seem to not even consider the fact that you do not have to be at the mercy of going to that app. You can now access that website. Go to www.parler.com. When you bring that up and you do your sign in, now you can export that and make it an on-screen icon. You have now bypassed Safari, Google, and the App Store to get access to Parler. They only know that you've got DuckDuckGo on there. Worst possible scenario, you go into Safari, www.go, change your internet provider, the when you go through there, and then access Parler that way. Maybe a little bit of extra work, but I think outside the box, people. Right now we're in a situation where this is an attack on us. We're law-abiding citizens who are being painted by an event that's been created in Washington to be their reasoning to subvert.
We'll give Scott just a second there. Okay, Scott's back. Good.
Okay. My point is, we're smarter than this, guys. Our God is an awesome God. He will never be thwarted. He's still at work, even when you feel that he isn't. You just have to turn your eyes upon that. We will get through this. We will continue to keep our strength together as long as we keep our focus right. Now, and find ways to stay together. I know there's an app that we'll hear about eventually here that will help us do that. But once again, you can go to any of these sites through DuckDuckGo and not give Apple the satisfaction. But Raj is right. Anything that gives them money, Apple Music, anything that they've got, iTunes, etc., and that anything to show you hit them in the wallet and their fortune shrinks.
Thank you, Scott. Well said. Well said. If you're just joining us, we're doing this at the last minute because we just got notification that Apple has contacted Parler. Parler is a competitor to Twitter. Parler doesn't censor its content. Apple has contacted Parler and has said to Parler, you either censor your stuff or we're going to kick you out of the App Store. Every one of those people that are now on Parler are being affected by Apple's arrogance and violation of our First Amendment rights. This is not what this country is built on. I am asking you to, just like Scott said, take any Apple products that you're paying for, temporarily at least suspend them. Any apps that are on your phone that are non-essential, uninstall them. Contact, if you want to join us, you can do that where we're independent of Apple, independent of Google, by texting the word enough to 797979. Josh, if you could talk to the bigger picture, if you could also talk to the fact that you're an ordinary guy. I mean, you're not a big politician. You're not a person out there leading thousands of people, but you and your friend decided to actually make some software. So you're doing a lot of stuff here. And I want you guys to hear this. He's not going to go into detail of the software. He'll do another call. It's Patriot Chat. He will mention it. I want you to definitely join that software. And as you join it, you'll find out more about that. But the point here is we've got to push back. We cannot, if we don't push back and we keep accommodating and keep stepping back, can you imagine going to church and your pastor reads a verse in the Bible about anything, and then someone says, that's not admissible. By the verse, the Bible says an eye for an eye. There's a verse there. What if your pastor says that? And now someone says that's not permissible, and your pastor is isolated, your pastor's imprisoned, your pastor is removed from social media. Regardless of where you sit on the spectrum, the idea that a few people can tell another person in this country what they can or cannot say is the end. Everything else goes away when that happens. And that is what is happening right now. Josh, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, like you just touched on with church and what Scott just said, our God is an awesome God, and he is his will be done. Joshua 1:9 says, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid and do not be discouraged, for your God is with you wherever you will go. And so it is time for us to be strong and courageous, whether you be a Christian or a conservative or just a person of good conscience. And let me be explicitly clear here of what just happened. This was not censorship. This is not the run-of-the-mill censorship that we see every day. This was disorganization of a certain group of people solely based on your beliefs. And we need to be clear about that. Everyone that's in my household here and everyone that I know that I've reached out to was banned within the course of a few minutes and has completely gone dark and lost connection on their major forms of social media and how they speak with others. They're dead in the water. And without many connections, these people don't know what to do. They're completely disorganized at this point. And that was the goal of this. Okay, so, I want to touch on what we need to do now. We need to eliminate any big tech overhead on top of us, whether that be Apple, Google, it doesn't matter. And truthfully, I would say be cautious of your alternatives, because these were alternatives at one point. So what we need to be very clear on doing here now is choosing alternatives that do not have this big tech power over us. And on top of that, you really, really need to get out and make in-person connections. It is not enough to just switch to an alternative, because eventually, if it's not today, it may be tomorrow. Your alternative could go down the drain as well. And then what? How far is this going to progress? Will it be your phone provider? Will it be your internet provider, your power provider, your airlines? So you need to think about these things. These are real thoughts, because if this is step one, you need to be prepared about what step 2 and 3 are going to be. You need to be a few steps ahead. Don't be caught off guard. So what you need to do is right now, when you're done watching this video, you need to contact every single person that you know of like-minded ideas that you can trust and has any form of a conscience or good faith about them, and you need to become organized and have a group of people that you know that you can trust. You need to band together. What you also need to do is now start looking at, because look, we've touched on Apple and how to impact them. But what I would be cautious of is, how much is this truly going to impact them if they have taken these steps already? Who else do they have in their pocket? And how much money do they already have? And how much do they care about your money if they're willing to do this to you? So I'll touch on PatriChat, patrichat.net. If you go on there, like Scott just went and said you can do with DuckDuckGo, you can go and add that to your home screen on your phones rather than going through the App Store. It eliminates Safari. It eliminates your App Store, any big tech overhead on top of you. It is secure. It is owned by myself and my coworker here, Chad. You are safe on there. You will not be censored, and nobody has overhead on top of that. That is yours. It is nobody else's but your platform. But more importantly, like I already stated, you need to get out and you need to contact everyone you know right now, and you need to become organized in the case of how dark things are about to get, because it's dark right now when you can't access the social platforms that we've been so used to. And if this is step 1, you better be prepared for step 2 and 3. Don't be caught off guard. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Josh. And you're seeing it right there. And Lindsay, I'm going to ask you to kind of wrap this up for us in a minute. So just for takeaway so far, everyone on this call has been impacted by censorship. Josh, who you just spoke with, his family, his co-workers, all this in the last, it's 10:18 p.m. In the last 3 hours, within minutes, all of their accounts were snuffed out on Facebook. They can't do anything on Facebook or Messenger. What Josh didn't say is Josh has been very cautious about making sure that there's nothing offensive on his page. If anytime someone posts something, Josh has been careful to delete it because he didn't want to be in this exact position that he's in right now. He hasn't used any offensive word. He has not done anything to violate any community guidelines. And yet him and everyone that he's associated with, almost everyone he's associated, has been taken out. He mentioned patriotchat.net, which is an app, which is a website that he and his buddy Chad have created. They're not software guys. They have full-time day jobs. They're doing this because they saw months ahead that this might happen, and it's happening right now. This is really the end game. This is not something that's going to happen. This is just a group that we're aware of. We don't know how many other thousands or millions of people Facebook has targeted and systematically cancel their account. The big story that led into this is Parler is being required by Apple to censor. What we don't want is a bunch of people posting about this and that's all. No, we have to take action. Remember, when you post stuff and share stuff, it's like preaching to the choir. You're sharing with people who already share the same thing. I know it makes us feel good. We get a little dopamine hit every time with that share button, but it's not moving the ball. So what I'm asking you is to do the hard thing. In the 1700s, if this was happening, people would have to reach for something to defend themselves, and people are spilling blood. All we need to do right now is just cancel a few apps. It's not that bad. Like Gus mentioned, it's not a big deal, but it will make a big difference if we do it in mass. Second thing, text the word enough to 797979 if you want to stay in touch with the groups like this. Third thing, uninstall the apps on your phone that are non-essential. Because when you uninstall apps on your phone, every vendor that's relying on the App Store, when their app gets uninstalled, that happens in mass, they're going to contact Apple and say, what the heck? You're betraying the trust that we gave you when we put our app on your App Store, and you'll be a distribution platform. Apple is becoming a politician now and trying to become the Nazi police. So those are the takeaway points. Lindsay, please close this up for us and summarize and share with us. And Lindsay, just for you to know, I want you to know who Lindsay Liu is. Lindsay Liu and her colleagues went head to head with Antifa in St. Petersburg. When I say head to head, what I mean is they were
Counter protesting.
what did you say?
Counter protesting.
They were protesting. They were inches away from Antifa, like physically inches away. But because they did it in mass, Lindsay's group actually dispelled Antifa from St. Petersburg. So she knows what it is to come together in mass and solidarity and achieve a favorable outcome. So Lindsay, thanks for being on this call. Go ahead. You wrap it up for us.
The last thing I want to say is I know that we all feel like we're law-abiding citizens. The question is for how long? They are changing the definition of words, and what is considered a law-abiding citizen now, that definition may be very, very different next week. Apple's not even hiding it. They don't care that people can find out about it. They get to control your visibility and your access to people. So if they're doing it blatantly and they're making excuses, they're trying to be altruistic, it's just a lie. It's not enough just to get off the platform. You need to put your money with companies that are supporting, because they need our help, and that hopefully will come back and we can have a symbiotic relationship. But we have got to get our message across by getting off the platform altogether. So I will be turning in my Apple phone tomorrow. You do it. It's not 3 strikes and you're out. 1 strike and you're out. Apple made a big mistake today. So we need to demonstrate our dissatisfaction and get rid of our Apple products. So if you can, get rid of the apps, but get rid of the products and don't have anything to do with those companies that are not honoring our Constitution and everything that America stands for. Because you may not be a law-abiding citizen as of tomorrow.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thanks for watching this video. Call to action, like Josh said, get together in person. Gus and Josh both are calling for that. Second thing, organize. I mean, as I'm listening to the words coming out of my mouth, it just sounds crazy that I'll be saying something like this in this country, live on Facebook for everyone here. It just sounds nuts. I sound like I don't know what I sound like. But today, a few hours ago, people that I know got their accounts unilaterally deleted. Apple is now bullying Parler, and we have got to draw the line and push back. Text the word enough to 797979. Go to patriotchat.net. Sign up there. It's free. Josh and Chad, Josh is on this call, own that. You're going to be safe there. If that's something you want to do, please do that. Thanks for watching this video. Now share this video. Remember what Josh said. You have to call it individually. Don't do a mass share. That's very ineffective, I found. Send this video to everyone you know. We have to push back. We have to push back unilaterally and in solidarity. Thank you very much for everybody for watching this video. Please share. Lindsay, Scott, Gustav, Josh. We had a bunch of other people join. I appreciate Franks and Tara for being on the call as well. Thanks for listening in. Much appreciated. Talk later. Bye-bye. Bye.